In this video, we're going to be looking at composite functions. Now, I'm going to look at some basic things we need to know just before we start looking at composite functions. Now, here it says fx equals 5x minus 3. Now, what does that mean? Fx just means y, so all this means is y equals 5x minus 3. What does f2 mean? Now, before it was fx, instead of x we put 2. All it means is put x in as 2 into the function. So where it says x, replace it with 2. So I'm going to write the fx function, but I'm going to put x in as 2. And that we can simply work out. 5 times 2 is 10, minus 3 gives you 7. And one more thing, what does this mean? In this case, it means get the whole fx function and equate it to 11. So in this case, fx is 5x minus 3. So I'll simply just say 5x minus 3 equals 11. And you can simply just solve that linear equation. Just move the minus 3 to the side by adding 3. And finally dividing by 5. Okay, let's start looking at composite functions. Now here I've got 3 functions, fx, gx and hx. Now remember, in each case with fx, gx and hs, in all cases it means just y equals. Of course we had to give them different letters because they are different functions. We couldn't call them all fx. Now let's look at some composite function questions. So here I've got fgx. Now what does that mean? What this means is write the function f and put g into it. So you'd start by writing the function f, but wherever you see an x, you won't write x, you'll write the whole g function into it. So let's start writing the function f out. So we start off by writing 2. Now it'd normally be x next, but remember instead of x we're going to write the whole g function into it. And gx is 5x minus 1. So I'll write 5x minus 1. And I can put them in brackets. And that's replacing the original x. Now we'll just continue writing the f function, which just got a plus 3 now. And that's it. We've got our fgx function. We just need to now simply just open the brackets up and tidy it up. Let's try one more. This time we'll try gfx. So this time g comes first. So we're going to start writing the g function out. And again, while we're writing the g function out, whenever we see an x, we're going to throw f into it. So let's start writing the g function out. So g is 5x minus 1, but we're going to write 5. And instead of x, we're going to put f into it. We'll write 2x plus 3 instead of that x. And we'll just continue writing g function as we were doing. After that, we just need to expand the brackets and simplify. Let's now try a slightly more difficult question. Let's try hgx. So for hgx, of course, we need to write the h function first. Now the h function starts with x squared. Now I'm not going to write x squared, because remember, instead of x, we're going to replace that with g. So I'm going to put the g function in as squared instead of x squared. So g is 5x minus 1. So I'll write 5x minus 1 all squared. And then simply carry on writing the h function out as you were. So you simply have the h function, but where there was an x, you've just replaced it with g. And that's your hgx. So I'll just show you here, you're just simply putting the g function into the h function. Now you just simply need to open it up and tidy it up. And there we have our hgx. Now sometimes you might be asked to work out a numeric answer. For example, here you're asked for fg2. Now all that means is in your fg function, replace the x as 2, and you should get an answer for that. Now we've already worked out fgx, so we can just go back and have a look at that. And that was 10x plus 1. Now I'm simply just going to replace that x with 2, and that gives us 21. In this case, since we've worked out the fgx function, we simply just use that function and replace the x as 2 and worked it out. However, in a question, if you have not already worked out fgx and it's asked for fg2, there's a slightly simpler way to do it. You can put that 2 into the g function, and that answer, put that into the f function, and that should give you the same answer. This method will just simply save you working out the fgx function. So for fgx, we already know the answer is 21. We're going to try the other method and see if we get the same answer. So we'll start off by putting 2 into the g function. So I need to work out g2. And that gave us 9. Now I'm going to put that 9 back into the f function. So we're working out f of 9 now. And as we expected, that also gives us 21. So both methods gives the same answer. Now, in a question, if you've already worked out fgx, simply just put 2 into that. But if you haven't, you can try the second method we showed. Now in the next part, we're asked to work out fgx equals 5. In this question, if you haven't worked out fgx, you need to first work that out. And you're simply going to equate that answer to 5. Now we've already worked out the fgx function as 10x plus 1. We're going to simply equate that to 5. So we'll have 10x plus 1 equals 5. Now simply you need to solve that equation by just making x a subject. And you should know how to do that. The other thing you have to look at is inverse functions. So we'll start off by looking at the inverse of f. And f inverse is shown by f with a little -1. That -1 shows that we're looking at the inverse of f. And let's see how we work out the inverse. And remember that little -1 does not mean power -1. So let's go ahead and see how we work out f inverse. So remember earlier I said that f of x just means y. So here we have f of x equals 7x minus 2. Now I'm going to write it as y equals 7x minus 2 to start off with. Now there's two methods to doing it. Now the way I do it is I replace the x and y. I swap the x's and the y's. So instead of y equals 7x minus 2, I'll write x equals 7y minus 2. Now we'll simply just make y the subject again. And once you've done that, you've got your inverse. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So this new function now, you can call it the f inverse. Let's try one more example. We're going to do it with now gx. So we're going to work out g inverse x. So we have gx equals 2x plus 8. So to start off, we're going to write y equals 2x plus 8. And like I did before, we'll just swap the x and the y. So what you're doing is where it says x, you write y, and where it says y, you write x. Now simply just make y the subject again. And you've got your inverse. And now you can write G inverse is x minus 8 all over 2. Let's look at one more slightly trickier example. We've got hx equals x squared plus 3. So we'll start by writing y equals x squared plus 3. So swap the x's and the y's. And again, make y the subject again. And you've got the inverse. And there you have it. I hope you found that video useful. Support us by liking, subscribing, and share this with your friends. And if you still got some more questions on anything, drop a post on our forum at examqa.com where you'll find your questions answered.